We're now faced with a situation in which the markets look completely different to the way that they did over the Christmas period and a little bit before that as well. We're now into a phase where we also have some pretty negative news headlines that are hanging overhead. So obviously we've got the DOJ with the $6.5 billion BTC sale that's kind of looming there now, and that news releasing last night. So really we're going to take a look at what that means for the crypto market, whether or not this little bull cycle we've had and experienced over the last month is coming to an end, or what implications it has for the wider picture of crypto. And really, we'll start off with BTC. I think that, that's the most obvious place from all of this, with this news and with the price action that's been developing in terms of taking a look at where we are and getting a good kind of heads up picture for what the higher timeframes look like on BTC. And you can see on the lower timeframes at the moment, continuing the sell-off into a day where the stock market is actually closed today. And so, we're just seeing this independently now, just having this weakness and continuing down towards the lows. Now, the area that we began looking for was around the 85K level. And I think that area remains the most important level that the majority of people will have on the chart. This is because this satisfies something which is super easy to action, which is that you have a very clean trending market through here where you have very little pullback, and then you begin to get a lot choppier. So you can see that the way the nature of the price action changes as we get up here, where a lot more now, there's a lot more basically appearance of red candles in this zone, and we're also seeing a lot more back and forth from the price action instead of this vertical nature where we just get no pullbacks and simply continue higher. And what typically happens in bull markets is that we get moves back down, which end up sweeping areas like this. And so that's what we're looking for. We're basically looking for movement now to clear out this 85K level, and I think a lot of people still have their eyes on this level as the significant one for us. We would expect to see some sort of aggression when we enter below this area here. So once we start actually getting closes below this 92K level, I suspect that's when we'll see the aggression start to pick up in the market, and potentially that acceleration that we might see down to this side here. The DOJ stuff, I think at the moment is really an unknown, because a lot of people are arguing whether or not that process has already begun, whether or not we are actually seeing the selling in effect now, whether or not people have been pre-positioning for it, whether or not the selling will even happen over the course of the next 2 weeks. And of course, people using 2 weeks because of the inauguration of Trump. And so therefore, there's kind of whether or not that selling is going to occur before the end of the current presidency. And really, I've got no fucking idea. I've got no clue. I've got nothing I can tell you that's going to give you any inside information on that process. But all I know is that right now, when we have a situation in which the market is downtrending, the market looks very weak, and we have this huge negative news headline hanging over our heads, it's usually not a good idea to be buying spot here. Now, that may also feel as though it's kind of, you might look at that and say, oh, well, what the fuck are you talking about? Price is down. Of course, I should be buying the dip. That depends on your risk tolerance. I'm looking for levels that are around that 85K, possibly deeper than that. And that's where I want to see a reaction before I start committing spot to this market. Right now, I just think the conditions are too weak overall. I think that the negative news headlines are too strong, and I don't see any real technical reasons in order to buy this chart right now. I just think it looks like continuation to the downside from here. And unfortunately, the situation is just amplified, to multiple degrees on alts, where alts are now trading down significantly, especially against BTC, over this last patch of time. We're starting to see hype trading down towards $19 through here. We're now starting to see stuff like FARTCOIN actually get its proper correction off the highs, down 30% on the day, and already down, looking at 50% from the all-time high here. Starting to see markets like virtuals here that's trading now, again, significant discount from this top that we had over here. So markets in a pretty stinky position overall. A lot of weakness present, a lot of alts not managing to hold on to supports. A lot of, you've got markets that look like POPCAT, and fuck me, POPCAT's been getting absolutely dicked down here. Trading from 210 all the way down towards 75% down from the high now, back to 50 cents. the market's in a really poor position. And as I said, for the majority of people, there's just simply no reason to be action anything in this environment. If you're looking at trading, the more favorable trades are still on the downside. We've now had a good period and patch of selling and lower time frame potential exhaustion, given that the aggression that we've seen on some of these moves through here. You take a look at the 15-minute now, and it's just been getting slammed for the last 2 days, last 48 hours. It's just relentless. It cannot catch a break through this region. Now, we'll take a quick look at the indexes to finish the summary there and to think about how we can, potentially combine some of this information as well to what we're seeing. And largely, actually, the indexes are responding in the same way as BTC is. And obviously, there's no negative sell pressure there from some fucking DOJ case. But we've got the same structure where we've got this weakness and the inability to bounce as we're just continually grinding to the downside. And the indexes are in a position where really what they want to start doing is holding on to lows in here, because you've got a really good 12-hour picture both here and on the SPX where we can see that the market structure is starting to get tighter here. Okay, so we're starting to get tighter. We haven't got this uptrending structure. We haven't got this downtrending structure. We're in the middle of determining which way this is going to go. And the reason for that is that we've got our high, we've got our low. We then get our lower high, but then we get our higher low. And so all we're doing is tightening through here. Now, what we're looking for, obviously, if this high here goes at 21.9, that's going to be a significant upside break for us, and we're super happy about that, and risk is probably good for a while. If this downside breaks, then we start getting into a really unfortunate scenario where we're going to start turning to higher time frame divergences that are developing on this market, and also the fact that this market is going to be breaking structure for the first time in a good while on the higher time frames. So some pretty awkward situations all around. But like I said, for right now on BTC, I think this market is tradable to the upside. I still think that you can look at taking trades here to the upside. But realistically, do you want to be buying spot here? Probably not. I don't think there's any reason to. I don't think you need to stand in front of the train right now. When you take a look at those last 2 days, why are you going to stand in the way of this? There's been nothing. And I can assure you, lots of people have tried scalping this to the upside. Lots of people have started looking at divergences through here. It's just weakness. We've had periods of price action like this before. They don't resolve favorably. Whenever you have markets that cannot bounce off a bullish divergence, that is a sign of ultra weakness present in the market. Right now, markets are super weak. If you want to buy spot, I think you just need to be careful on it. Depends on your risk tolerance. You may decide that this is a cheap enough area for you. If so, good luck. For me, I have to wait. There's no technical signals to stand in the way of this. Market's weak. News is weak. For me, sat on the sidelines watching but not losing money.